Hey guys, welcome back to the Jays with Them podcast. I'm your host Jade, and today we're going to be recapping Week 4 of the NFL here in the 2024 season. Great weekend, a lot of good close games. Some very important for certain teams as they're continuing their edge as leading teams in their division and even in the conference. So we'll get to that here on the show today. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button in the right corner of your screen. Also follow us on the socials: Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, on X, Jays with Down Pod. And we are also available for audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So if you want to listen to us when you're working out or driving or doing whatever you're doing, just do that. Go to our podcast, search up Jays with Now exclamation point, and that is our podcast. So you will find that there, the audio version of it, if you're not able to watch the video here on YouTube. And I will leave a link to that in the description below. Also, there is links to it on my other episodes if you want to do that as well. So let's get started here. So before I say yes, watching. I'm wearing Alabama shirt, so because I was watching the game. They had a great win, destroyed Georgia for the most part. So roll tide, but that's not what we're talking about today. But what I wanted to get to though was some notes from Week 4 here in the 2024 season that I observed, and and as an analyst, just some things that really popped out to me. Right. So for one, guys, look, and I said this back in the off season. I said this, and I told people that this team would be on those teams. Now the Washington Commanders are look, they are legit, guys. They are looking for the most part pretty good so far this season. Jayden Daniels, 82.1 completion percentage, leads the NFL. The offense is being coordinated very well by Cliff Kingsbury, who has struggled with being head coach with the Arizona Cardinals and everything. And he has created a great environment and situation for Jayden Daniels to run this offense, and something that catering to his abilities, doing that really well. He's played great football so far as their starting quarterback, which is what they drafted him to do, to be the franchise guy and to start a fresh new era in Washington. And so far, they've done a pretty good job of that. They destroyed the Cardinals 42-14 yesterday. So Cliff Kingsbury got a little revenge on his old team, something like that. But he called a great offensive game, like I said, and I'm really impressed with how Daniels has been playing, and the team overall. They're playing defensively. They're playing sound, getting better each and every week, and in these every departments here, and they're doing good. And I said that this would be a team to watch for here in the 2024 season. I kept reiterating that. I said, guys, watch out for the Commanders. Look, they got a new head coach. Even though I didn't know how Dan Quinn would be doing so far as head coach again after his stint with the Falcons did not end so greatly. But so far here in DC, it's been going pretty good. And like I said, Cliff Kingsbury was a good hire for the offensive coordinator position. He knows how to work with quarterbacks very well, especially those with great talent, such as Jayden Daniels. Being able to run and throw the football effectively and efficiently, and I just thought that was a great move by that organization. So like I said, how many times can we say that we never thought the Commanders would be leading the NFC East right now? We thought it'd be Dallas, right, or the Eagles. Both teams struggling right now for the most part. Dallas did get the win in their last matchup, but they over against the Giants, but still they're not looking like who they should be looking like, and they lost. Micah Parsons to an injury, and DeMarcus Lawrence as well, both hurt. So not the most ideal situation for the Cowboys right now, who just need to find some sort of consistency. Right, the consistency that they normally have during the regular season, they're not having it right now this year as they had in years past. And we don't know how their season ends anyway when they get to the playoffs. That's not even worth talking about. We already know what they're going to do. Dak and the Cowgirls, we already know what they're going to do. But in the season, they're usually a great regular season team, and right now they're not. It's just a lot going on wrong right now for Dallas, and so that's just something that we just just keeping an eye on, just thinking about like, wow, like, you know, football is not a super complicated sport. Like if you get the guys in the building that know how to play the game, that are bought into what the culture is, then and they obviously are very talented. Then your team will have great success, regular season and postseason. But if it's the opposite and execution is lacking and drive and dedication is lacking, then your team is not going to be as successful. Heck, why did Kansas City Chiefs won back-to-back Super Bowls? Because they, you know, have a great winning culture there, and everybody's bought into what the goal is, and they have like a lot of great talent. And that's just another thing about it. But you know, um, but yeah, some other things of note. The Bears got a win over the Rams, 24-18. Caleb Williams was very efficient. Threw a couple touchdowns, over 160 yards. Ground game looked pretty good with Swift. It looks like they're starting to kind of figure things out a little bit. Trying to get some traction back in that division race there, which is being completely just like driven out far ahead by the Minnesota Vikings, who set 4-0 right now. As we've talked about many times on this podcast, look, I've been talking about the Vikings a lot lately on this show, and look, I like I said, I owe Sam Darnold a huge apology because I never thought that he would be the starting quarterback on a team that is like, yeah, the leading team right now, like in the NFC North, and one of the leading teams in the whole conference. Defensively, league best 16 sacks, I believe is the number there. They only have one sack on Sunday, but they still lead the NFL in sacks. Their defense is stifling. They swarm to the football. I love how Brian Flores has constructed this defense and how they are playing, how he has them playing, because they're not super talented guys. They're not, like I said, they're not superstar players on defense, but they understand how to align and assign. They understand what their jobs are, their tasks are on that specific defense, and they execute them correctly. And that is how you build good defensive units in football, particularly in the NFL. And he has done a good job of doing that with those guys there. Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel, all those guys like Blake Cashman, like they've built like their defense is like they got guys who just who love football and they fly to the ball. That's the best way I could put it, and like and those are the best guys to have on your defense, because they're going to give it their all every play, right? And that's just something to to think about there with the Vikings. Like, honestly, can they make the playoffs? It's very easy. I mean, not why I see it. It's very hard to tell that right now. It's still very early in the season to make any type of judgments as far as teams that go to the postseason or not. However, for the way they're looking right now, like in the fact that if that defense continues to just like completely like just uh, choke opponents and stifle them, and the offense continues to play efficiently and productively, then who's to say what's going to happen for them? The last time the Vikings started 4-0 was 2016. They went 8-8. They missed the playoffs, but they're looking to change that, and they're looking to finish the year strong and going into the postseason. I believe they can do it. I wasn't again. Now, yeah, maybe switching up a little bit because I didn't have them going to playoffs. In the offseason, I didn't think they were going to be doing anything. But the way Sam Darnold has been playing is impressing me very much, and like so, just like I said, this team really like you gotta watch out for them. But also, let's not forget on Sunday Night Football, Ravens dominate Buffalo, going there and dominate them. Derrick Henry had 199 yards rushing, 87-yard touchdown to start off the game. I mean, Baltimore. Only thing my concern for them is like when they get into the playoffs, they or play teams like Pittsburgh or teams like that. Like you got to be able to pass football efficiently. Like, I want to see how they do against those elite defenses. The Bills defense not elite clearly, but they're good. I just want to see how Baltimore will handle that. Have they changed since last year? Playing those defenses like Kansas City and Pittsburgh, things like that, right? But Buffalo, they go in there and they take them down at home, and they look pretty good. The Bills, on the other hand, suffered their first loss of the season, so back to the drawing board for them. And they got to figure out what's up. I mean, look, we all knew that not having a number one wide receiver would be tough for Josh Allen, but he's managed to play good so far. Cam Coleman has played good for them. Khalil Shakir, like they've got good players, but just like when you don't have a number one go-to guy, it's going to make things a little bit tougher. That's just the name of it. That's the name of the game. But again, it creates for a more balanced offensive attack. Allows Josh to spread it out more evenly and to use his legs more. We don't have guys kind of just, just itching for the ball and being, ridiculous about it. But needless to say, they're doing pretty good right now. And the Bills are for the most part. And we get then looking at ahead, some injury notes though, before we go into tonight's matchup. Wide receiver Rashee Rice for the Chiefs has believed torn his ACL and played for Patrick Mahomes hitting the leg, so a little friendly fire there. But yeah, unfortunately for them, it looks like Rashee Rice is not going to be returning this season. So that's a huge blow to that Chiefs offense. So from what I've been hearing, they are looking into the wide receiver market, looking into guys to possibly bring in like maybe Hunter Renfrow or maybe Mike Thomas, free agent wide receivers, or some players that are on other teams like Amari Cooper on the Browns, So and that could be interesting, to watch out for, because in Cleveland, Deshaun Watson is just not it. And I'm sure Amari Cooper wants to play with the quarterback who's going to be able to get him the ball effectively and efficiently on a consistent basis. So, hey, I could see it happening, but just something else, again, to just keep in mind as we go throughout here this season. But looking at tonight's matchups on Monday Night Football, we got two games. First being the Titans and the Dolphins. And that should be interesting. The Titans looking for their first win of the season. Miami trying to, just stay afloat right now after losing Tua Tagovailoa to those concussions, the concussion and everything. And then they brought in Tyler Huntley to start at quarterback for them today. Off the Browns practice squad. So that should be pretty intriguing to see how that goes. Honestly, Tennessee goes out there. If Will Levis doesn't turn it over, they have a chance to win the game. So we'll see what happens there. But other than that, man, yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap us up for today's episode, guys. Kind of short, sweet. I just wanted to kind of touch on a few of yesterday's matchups and some things of note I took from those games. Like I said, a lot of these teams are kind of leading the divisions and stuff, and they're taking charge. Tampa Bay currently leading the NFC South at 3-1. Howard Falcons right behind them at 2-2. They play on Thursday night, but I'll have a preview of that game specifically later this week. And then the Vikings, as I mentioned before, leading the NFC North at 4-0. They're playing like just lights out right now, so we'll see how long they can keep it up. But yeah, that's going to pretty much wrap us up here on today's episode of Jason Down. We'll see you next time on the show. And make sure you hit that subscribe button in the right corner of your screen. Follow us on socials. Y'all know the drill. And we'll see you next time.